It has been a wild summer, and the pent-up anticipation for this college football season is like none we've seen in a long, long time. And today lived up to that hype. In every single arena, in every single stadium, in every single living room, college football, much like that mustache, never disappointed. And for the next hour, we're going to bring it all to you. It's the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. If you're new to the show, guess what? You're not the only one. AJ McCarron hanging out with me, Jason Fitz. For the next hour, we're going to get you highlights. We're also going to get you caught up and set for tonight's huge matchup. AJ, welcome to the show, my friend.
I appreciate you, Fitzy. I'm excited to be here, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be good, right? Like,
yep.
Well, the number of times I'm going to ask you quarterback questions is just going to be out of control, and I'm going to offer nothing except for constant trolling. The one thing I can assure you, America, is I will still not be afraid to give out my hot takes that Alabama's not winning the national championship, even though he's sitting next to me. This is what I'm doing. I'm stirring the pot before we even get rolling. You ready? Let's get this thing started with a highlight from the game of the afternoon. Everybody had their eyes on it. Georgia taking on Oregon. Not too early to tell you I told you so. All week I said this was going to be a blowout. Guess what? Bo Nix knows how to throw picks. This is a pretty interception, though, AJ.
Yeah, heck of a play by the DB, but ball underthrown by Bo right there.
Malachi Starks with the acrobatic interception. They were already up 7-0. Didn't take long to go up 14-0. Then just another one right there, getting the ball right back.
Quadruple coverage. Can't do it.
Next drive, Kenny McIntosh says, swiggity swooty, go for the booty. Touchdown, Georgia. 21-0 before we even know what's happening other than that dance. That dance is fire right there.
Antonio Brown.
Look at this. Then we got 28-3 in the second half.
What a
Kendall
move.
Milton says, I'm walking on sunshine straight to the end zone. 35-3. You don't even know that song, AJ. You're too young. I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore. Start of the fourth quarter. Carson Beck swings it out. Milton for the short pass turns into a touchdown. The final score on this one, this is not a misspeak by me for once, 49-3. That's right, 49-3. The number 3 team in the country just beat the number 11 team in the country by 46 points. And frankly, it didn't even look that close sometimes. So, AJ, did you see this coming?
I figured Georgia would put it on them. I don't know about 46 points, but I felt like it'd be around 21 to 28 point difference right there. But unbelievable game, unbelievable start for Kirby Smart and Georgia Bulldogs. Should be a great start to a great season for them for sure.
So I want to talk to you about quarterbacks because there were 2 different quarterbacks in this game, right? Obviously, Bo Nix. Oregon fans had a lot of hope. We saw 2 picks, which matches what we saw from him when he was at Auburn. He had 23 touchdowns, 2 picks at home in Auburn, 12 and 12 respectively on the road. Not a good road quarterback. We see again in a road game throwing picks, making bad reads.
Yeah, we got to find a way to get Bo comfortable on the road, change up his pregame meal, whatever.
Wait, pregame meal. What was the AJ McCarron pregame meal?
Yeah, steak and baked potato. That's all.
Steak and baked potato. Like, does it matter what time kickoff was?
Doesn't matter.
Like, so you're eating steak at 10 a.m.?
Same thing every week.
What are we doing? How do you like your steak, though? That's a real question.
Medium rare.
Okay, see? All right, we can go to a steakhouse. Harry Douglas is going to buy, though. Harry Douglas likes to go to the fancy steakhouses, so we'll make him pay for it.
Yeah.
But we'll go there. The other side of the quarterback equation was Stetson Bennett, who looked incredibly under control, I guess is the best way to say it. For all the change that's happened on that roster, he returns and absolutely looked like a man amongst boys.
Unbelievable day by Stetson. That was the key for me. I wanted to see in the Bo Nix versus Stetson Bennett matchup. Was Stetson going to be able to build off of the hype that from last year, winning the national championship, MVP, like having the game he did, the confidence level, was it going to grow and was it going to show on the field? And today definitely showed 25 of 31, 368, 2 TDs, 1 rushing. Unbelievable day by Stetson. Proud of him.
The fact that Stetson was done in the third quarter and they still won by 46. Woo! Georgia made a statement. Let's take a look at the next game on the action. We were looking for a statement out of number 23 Cincinnati versus number 19 Arkansas. A lot of change for that Cincinnati team. KJ Jefferson, he knows what he's doing with the football. Keeps it 15-yard touchdown run. The man is a beast
Rocking
with the
the
rock.
baby.
I mean, 7-0 lead for the Razorbacks right there. Later on, Jefferson finds Jaden Hazelwood, 19-yard touchdown catch. Nice little adjustment there.
Great throw, too.
So great catch by the receiver. You mentioned great throw, little back shoulder sort of action. Like, I don't know, what are you looking for as a quarterback?
Yeah, DB up top, just throw it behind him. It's hard for a DB running full speed to turn around, make a play on it. Your receiver's looking back at you. Just give him a chance.
Well, that chance turned into a touchdown. Now we got 21-7. The Bearcats trying to get something done. Ben Bryant finds Nick Mardner, 35-yard touchdown pass. Since he cuts it to a one-score game here, starting to feel a little momentum, but Arkansas said, not up in here. KJ again finds Trey Knox, this time for a 32-yard touchdown. Nice little play.
Yeah, that was a great block out there by, I guess, the receiver.
31-17 is the score in this game now for the Razorbacks. 31-24 should update that. 31-24. We got about just under 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, as you see there. So we'll keep you updated on how that game goes. I mentioned Ben Bryant, significant here. Redshirt senior Ben Bryant started at quarterback for Cincinnati today, which is interesting because he was at Cincinnati, transferred away when he didn't beat Desmond Ridder for the job. He comes back to a coaching staff he's comfortable with. I think that's part of why Cincinnati felt like maybe they could pick up where they left off. But you lost a lot of key players that are playing on Sunday this year, and you're trying to go in to compete with Arkansas at Arkansas. I think this is a big challenge out of the gates.
It is for sure. I don't know if you ever break up with your girlfriend, leave her, and then come back. It's never a good recipe.
It never works. It does for like a second, right? You're like, this is fine, and then you realize, no, she was still crazy.
I knew why I left.
The opposite side of this is Arkansas. I was really hot on Arkansas last year, beginning of the year. Great defense. Sam Pittman, absolutely. KJ Jefferson played really well early in the season. I'm trying not to fall into that trap this year because Arkansas starts hot, but this is a significant game for them.
Yeah, I love Coach Pittman, and I think he's unbelievable for the University of Arkansas. And the key to their success this year is going to be KJ Jefferson. Can he, develop more as a passer and continue to grow and lead that team? And he's having a heck of a day today. 18 of 26 so far, 223, 3 TDs passing, 1 rushing. He's got to keep it up for the rest of the game. They got another 5 minutes or so left and pull this win out.
Peek behind the curtain. AJ and I get to watch football together. That's one of my favorite things about this job. But you mentioned that you wanted to see a little bit more accuracy from KJ this year, right?
Yeah.
Like you wanted to see sort of increase there. I mean, we've seen that in this game. It's only one game.
Yep.
Obviously, Cincinnati lost some big players on defense too, but at least is a step in that direction.
For sure. The biggest thing with him is being able to sustain this success, like build week upon week. And if you can do that, he's going to put Arkansas in a great situation to win each week.
Speaking of quarterbacks, by the way, you're watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. Jason Fitz, AJ McCarron. We knew that there was going to be a battle in Michigan at who's going to be the starting quarterback. Well, a statement was made today. Cade McNamara gets the start. But remember, it's biblical, according to Harbaugh, and how they're going to make these decisions. Well, Cade McNamara didn't have to have a prayer here on this one. Roman Wilson on the screen. Wilson takes it 61 yards to the house. Absolutely great play by him after the catch. Look at this one again. Just finds him out there, and he makes somebody miss. Great blocking, too.
Yeah, unbelievable play. Get it to your playmakers. Let them go make plays for you.
And nice job staying in bounds, too, on that. So good work by them. That makes it 7-0 early on. Michigan up over Colorado State. That's just the beginning of it. We'll pick it up in the second. Blake Corum runs it in, 7-yard touchdown. That takes Michigan's lead to 20-0. I wasn't sure if Corum was going to have a huge day or not. He ended up having a very efficient day. Now, you've got J.J. McCarthy running the read option. He got in for a little fun. Touchdown, 37-0.
It's going to be interesting to see how McCarthy plays next week for him in his first start and kind of decide that QB battle that they got going on.
I mean, 51-7 is a staggering statement. Cade McNamara was good, but J.J. McCarthy is going to get his shot next week. I don't know how I feel about this. I keep thinking about when you're in a conference taking on C.J. Stroud. It feels weird to me when you got 2 guys competing for a job and you're going to give each of them a game.
It's a weird deal they got going on. I'm not 100% sure why they're doing it that way. I've been in that same situation. It was me and Phillip Sims going into my first year starting. I started the game against Kent State, played 2 series. He played 2 series, and then it ended up I took the starting role after that, later in that game. But to give them both 1 game apiece, I think you're just, if you let this linger on for more time, you end up dividing this locker room, and it could, lead to some bad deals and bad chemistry inside that locker room for sure.
Especially when you're look. Let's be real. This is part of the reason that I'm out on Michigan this year, and it's not because I don't think Michigan's going to be a good football team. It's because Michigan's judged by this standard of did we beat Ohio State, and now you've got an Ohio State that spent all year thinking about not getting in that college football playoff, that returns starters on offense that are dynamic. And yeah, there might be some defensive questions. We'll find out tonight. But realistically, it feels like even though Michigan played really well, I need to see confidence and a game plan with the quarterback that I can rely on to believe that they can compete with Ohio State.
Yeah, for me, it was McNamara not really him being more of the passer, not really doing anything in this game to separate himself with this QB battle. So now you turn it over to McCarthy next week. How does he come out, and is he able to separate himself, in this QB battle and kind of win over the team? Because, like I said, they are in a tough situation doing this QB battle this way, I think, and hopefully they can figure it out next week.
Now, all eyes will be on how the quarterback position plays out. By the way, that Cincinnati-Arkansas game remains a one-touchdown game as time winds down on the fourth quarter. We will keep you updated on what that score looks like, obviously, as we get more information as we get closer to the end of it. We're going to do that for the next hour. As games get to fiery finishes, we'll be reacting to it live, hopefully with more family-friendly language than I used in the conference room when we were watching earlier. Let's get to UTEP taking on Oklahoma. Brent Venables. The venerable Venables. I just came up with that. I can't do that again all year. Now the head coach, number 9, Oklahoma, taking on UTEP. Dillon Gabriel finds Braden Willis for the touchdown. That makes it 14-0. Weren't sure what to expect out of this Oklahoma offense. Obviously, a lot of change. Gavin Freeman now.
Oh,
takes
little trickery.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's going to take it to the house. Oh, you got to pull him down. Oh, was that a block on the back?
Yeah, it was.
What
a play.
Give it to him anyway. 21-0 Oklahoma in the first. Now Gabriel finds Willis when he goes in for his second touchdown of the day.
It was the same play.
28-10 at that point. And this feels like it's a little less about anything Oklahoma is doing and more about UTEP, and where there's large talent gap. Let's say it that way. 45-13. You've been on the 45 end of these types of games before. Let's say games against maybe cupcakes, maybe warm-up games. So how much do you take out of what you see in a situation like that?
Well, I think the biggest thing was come out, have a fast start, right? UTEP's not going to be able to play with you and sustain during the whole game. So come out, get a fast start, put some points up, separate yourself, and have a good day of just playing consistent. And Dillon Gabriel did that for sure.
It's going to be one of the most watched things, I think, in college football this year, because Brent Venables has been a defensive coordinator at Clemson for so long, it's just presumed that he would always be there. Now he takes this job while Lincoln Riley goes to USC. So, and with him takes several big-name players. So Now there's these heaped expectations over here. Feels like people don't know what to expect out of Oklahoma. But, man, Brent Venables has been a part of some great defenses and some great culture at Clemson. If he can bring that to Oklahoma, tremendous success. But that's a huge unproven at this point.
It is, for sure. And Coach Venables, I think, needs to have some success this year, fast and in a hurry, to help with the recruiting process before he comes over into the SEC, because it's a different animal.
All right. We've got a ton of games today that we're going to be breaking down. We're going to get you highlights from so much of the early action. But I also know you are stoked for tonight's matchup between Ohio State and Notre Dame. We got a top 5 matchup. So to give us some insight on that, the great Holly Rowe gets us caught up.
Jim Knowles will take over as DC.
Playing hard, we're playing fast. We're not reacting, we're coming at you.
The guys are really just flying around. You're going to see a bunch of different looks. Disguised coverages, a lot of moving parts.
The challenges are seeing pressures, and the most important thing for me is giving myself and my teammates, opportunities to make plays.
Buckner throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame!
You can really run the football. Then it opens up the passing game, and then we have Tyler who can do a lot back there. So we're really dynamic.
They're a tough team. Feel like they're probably going to try to run the ball on us. We got to out-tough them.
They do a good job with their scheme, they do a good job with their coaching, and they're very good athletes. So we're going to have to bring it.
Hey everybody, live from Buckeye Stadium, Ohio Stadium, the Horseshoe. It is one of the most iconic stadiums in all of sports, and we have a really good game for you today because Ohio State has a ton of weapons. Their quarterback, CJ Stroud, is on a mission. He is focused. He is determined. Thursday, after practice, their final practice of the week to prepare for this game, he spoke to the team, and he was passionate. He said, "This is what we've been working for. I was a little boy dreaming of moments like this." So look for CJ Stroud to come out extremely focused. His best target is Jackson Smith in Jigba, number 11. They have a really unique connection. They first hooked up on the same team at the Adidas All-American game in 2019. And then they were on the scout team together. And then last year finally got some playing time in real games together. And they have an electric chemistry. Not only that, like they're boys. They go to each other's house on vacation. They actually went on vacation to the Virgin Islands together this summer. So that chemistry and that connection, I think, is going to be very important here today. Then for Notre Dame, I just had Marcus Freeman just walked in. There are like literally hundreds of photographers and TV stations. Everybody's really excited to see this former Buckeye. He played right here on this field, and they want to see how he does as the new head coach of Notre Dame. So I think fans will be very welcoming of him, but they don't want his team to do well. For Notre Dame to do well, their brand new quarterback, Tyler Buchner, has to be composed and calm. They have been working on the silent count to communicate in this very loud environment since June. So I expect that to be really high-level communication because they've been working on it. And then look for number 87, Michael Mayer. He is maybe the best tight end outside of Brock Bauer at Georgia in the country, and he's a weapon. He'll line up all over the field. I think that will present the biggest challenge for Ohio State today is how do they stop this tight end in Michael Mayer, and we'll see how they do. All right, everybody buckle up. I think it's going to be epic. I think this is the game of the weekend, and we're excited that you're going to join us for it. So check it out, 7:30 on ABC.
Holly O is doing great work. This is a live looking at what the Horseshoe looks like. Best damn band in the land getting ready, obviously, for a big night, Notre Dame, and all the eyeballs that come with it. LeBron in the house. I mean, not like there's anything else going on. So you might as well go to a great football game because you can get those tickets. Like that's one of the powerful. Like, does A.J. McCarron just walk in and be like, "I want tickets," and get them? Joe Burrow does.
Yeah, I mean, if it's at Bama, for sure.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Do you have to get your own snacks, or does somebody somebody the snack getter for A.J. McCarron?
That's what you got kids for.
Oh, see, that's a strong look. Obviously, as Holly just mentioned, this is the game of the week for so many people because, A.J., there's so much on the line. A top 5 opponent has never been as big an underdog, according to Las Vegas, as Notre Dame is. And Marcus Freeman, head coach, has made it clear he's been using that as ammunition all summer. It's easy for me at 5'9", 165 pounds to sit in there and say, ammunition matters. Does it?
In this situation, I don't know if it does. Now, listen, I think Notre Dame, if they play well up front, can at least make it a close game for the first half. But it also is a big factor if Tyler Buchner can play well. If he can take care of the football, deal with the crowd noise, the atmosphere that comes with it, playing at the Horseshoe, he at least gives them a chance in the first half. Now, if you make it a close game in the first half, you might have a shot. But today, I think Ohio State puts it on them.
I don't know who your coolest friend is, but we all know you have that one friend that's so cool that the minute they walk in the room, everything just feels better. Right?
Yeah.
That's Marcus Freeman. And what's amazing to me is that most of the time, I just mentioned questions about Brent Venables. What kind of culture can he create at Oklahoma? I don't know. He's been a part of championships at Clemson, but do we know?
All right.
Marcus Freeman is just such a badass personality individually that we've just presumed that whatever's ever ailed Notre Dame is no longer a factor. Marcus Freeman's going to be just fine, and they're going to be able to make up for what feels like a big talent gap. Like, I'm in on Notre Dame because I really like Marcus Freeman's vibe. Marcus Freeman's vibe isn't going to stop C.J. Stroud from throwing for whatever the hell he wants to throw for.
Yeah, Coach Freeman's, he can have the best vibe in the world, but if he's still not out there playing the game. So his guys got to come out. They have to have high energy. They have to deal with a hostile environment. And if they can do that, they'll have a shot in the first half. I cannot see it today.
There's so much conversation, too, about Ohio State's defense, right? Because their defense got shredded last year against some good teams. When they played good teams, they were susceptible. So the logic here is going to be, if you're Notre Dame, to your point, can you keep it close? How do you keep it close? You run the football effectively. If you can run the football effectively with an athletic quarterback that can run the ball, maybe you chew up so much clock that Ohio State, which is going to score like it's a Madden video game, is able to just come in and score in 3 plays. Okay, that's fine. Right. Now we're going to wear you down. But that feels like a large gap. Like everything has to go right for Notre Dame if that's the game plan.
100%. I mean, like you said, your up front guys, your O-line has to play well. You have to be able to, create a running game that is going to sustain the whole game, really, right? And if you can do that and create some push up front, keep the ball out of C.J. Stroud's hands and Ohio State's offense, you at least give yourself an opportunity. Now, if you're going 3 and out quick, you're in for a bad matchup right now.
It feels like, though, that's such a weird, I walk into the locker room and I'm like, all right, guys, here's the game plan. We're just going to try and chew as much clock as we can. Like, those guys are smart enough to know what that means, right? Yeah. Like, it just changes a little bit of the swagger when you walk in the room where it's like, we can run the ball on them because we better, right? Yeah. Like, that's just a weird sales pitch.
Yeah, it is for sure. But it's something that, I've been a part of those games before where it's, hey, this offense that we're on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the field is a powerful offense. They're explosive. They can make big plays at any point in the game. We have to find a way to keep the ball out of their hands, keep the ball away from them. And if Notre Dame can do that and, establish a run game, like I said, I think they at least give themselves a chance in the first half. I don't know if they can.
We just saw in the warm-up there, Jackson Smith-Njigba getting ready for this game. Anytime you've got a quarterback and an explosive receiver coming back, I always step back and say, man, it's going to be fun to watch, right? Like, because everybody has a little bit of vibe, everybody has a little bit of rhythm, you know each other well. We talked earlier about Stetson Bennett's comfort, obviously, in this Georgia offense. But I think about C.J. Stroud coming in, as you see there, 2021 Big Ten Player of the Year, 4th in Heisman voting. And people already have eyes on him on whether or not suck for Stroud should be a thing in the NFL. Like, everybody's enamored with him and will only become more enamored because he's got so many weapons to throw to that he's got relationships with.
Right. And that's the biggest thing as a quarterback, right, is having a relationship with your guys on offense, whether it's a running back, O-line, receivers, tight end, like being able to have that chemistry and to go out there and know what you're going to do before the play even starts, before it even happens, that's big. And if they can create that chemistry and keep that chemistry going from last year, it's going to be a special year for Ohio State. Now,
the game is live on ABC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching us in the ESPN app, which is a fun place to do it, just know that you can authenticate. And if you authenticate, you can watch all the college football you want right here in the app. You never have to leave the app all day, and we've got you covered on digital platforms for shows like these before, during, and after football. So you can hang out here all day and check out the game. Are we going to do a pick here? You got a pick? You feel confident one way or the other?
Yeah, I'm going Ohio State by 27.
Okay, Ohio State by 27. Look, we don't see this game differently, honestly. I'll say this, I think Ohio State wins by around 30. It's been my comment repeatedly. I don't think that's a statement on Notre Dame, though. The one thing I would say is, let's wait a minute. I think what we're reminded of right now is there are certain teams that, between the returning players that they have, where their offense is, where their sort of mindset is as a staff, continuity, which I think is tougher and tougher in college football, there are certain teams that early in the season I just think have a huge advantage. One was Georgia. One is Ohio State. One is some team that plays in a state that you're comfortable with. I think sometimes we have to look at Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia and say there's a reason that they continually restock, reload, and that they're able to start the season with a lot of momentum.
Oh, 100%. And I think Ohio State needs to come out, have a fast start, and really set the tone for the remainder of the year for them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I could see it close for a quarter. But what I know is that you won't see a better broadcast, and that's why you should watch it tonight, Saturday Night Football will be there tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. Of course, streaming live in the ESPN app. You can check it out right there. You can go check it out now. Keep turning on your TV. Just keep hanging out with AJ and I while we get you caught up on the rest of the action from the course of today, including a game that was not on my radar when the day started, and boy, was I glad it was by mid-afternoon. North Carolina versus App State. Now, North Carolina going through a lot of changes. We all know that. But time winding down. Drake May finds O.J. Jones. 42-yard touchdown pass. You see the score right. Remember, App State at one point was down by 14, down by 20, then up by 21. So now, 56-49. App State drops back, heaves it down, touchdown with 30 seconds left. What are they going to do? Oh, they go for two. He's wide open.
No.
Oh, I cannot believe. Wide open attempt to win the game. And so then you think all hope is lost, but it isn't because there's an onside kick. The onside kick is recovered. Get down, sit down. No, don't go for the booty. Never go for the booty. He went for the booty. He went for the booty. Touchdown. So you think, well, that's fine with the extra point. They're up by 8, but there was unsportsmanlike conduct. Led to a better field position, led to a dime for a touchdown, AJ. And all of a sudden, here we are in a situation where yet again, it's a 2-point game, 9 seconds left. Quarterback takes the snap. Right here, up. No.
Questioning that play call right there. It was the exact same play as the first 2-point conversion that you called. The exact same play call. You didn't change the motion. You didn't change anything about it. Like, we got to have 2 to 3 different 2-point plays going into that game.
Chase Bryce looking disappointed. By the way, the combo of Chase Rice and Lee Bryce. Chase Bryce, there you go. You country music reference. Look it up, kids. And Chase Bryce had a good day. 6 touchdowns, an interception. But ultimately, the final result isn't what App State hoped for. 63-61 in one of the most incredible endings I've ever seen in the college football game. And AJ, you just mentioned it, but I want to go back to it for a second. We were sitting there watching the game, and after the onside kick, when unbelievably, I know it's not the instinct of a player to fall down, but the whole time he's running it back for a touchdown, I'm yelling at the screen, oh my God, just get down, just get down. And then we see this incredible series of plays that leads to another touchdown, leads to a 2-point conversion. And it really stuck in my head what you said at the time, and you just mentioned. You said, you know what, you work all year. You got 2 or 3 or 4 plays for 2-point conversions you love. Let's see what they dial up. They dial up the same play.
Same play. Like, I just don't understand that. I really don't. Now, and I've been in situations where you run the same play, but as a quarterback, I'm already thinking, okay, well, if we line up in the same formation, same motion, like, we better be running something different, or we need to change the motion. Like, we need to change the formation slightly, but it was the exact same formation, exact same motion to it. I'm just lost for words with this play call.
I think the motion part of it's a really interesting conversation because as much as you can say, well, they run the same play, and we see that sometimes even in the pros. People run the same play over and over and over again. The question is, can you trick the eyes of the defense, right? Like, if you show them the same thing the same way, you're not tricking anybody. So now all of a sudden you got a defense that's calling it out. They know what's coming, and you're App State. You got opportunity. I think the fail, I didn't understand, although, look, aggressiveness and analytics people will disagree. They didn't have to go for 2 in the first time.
Right.
They went for 2 because they wanted to end this thing. But I thought they had a lot of momentum. Then they go for 2. They don't get it. And now you get one of the luckiest sequences you will ever experience in football. And that's what you dial up for your attempt to tie the game. It made no sense.
Exactly. Like, you get a second opportunity to capitalize on mistakes by UNC. Like, after UNC's defense was just non-existent all game long. Like, Coach Chizik, he's going to have his work cut out for him this next week, getting them ready. But, you get a second opportunity, you got to capitalize on that.
Yeah, the one thing that hit me yet again is it's better to be lucky than good. All right, let's get you to Houston, UTSA, number 24, Houston. So obviously a lot of eyeballs here, what that will look like for the group of 5. Frank Harris right here decides, you know what, guys, I'm just going to keep it. I press the O button, press the turbo button. Up, press the up button.
What a
There we
run.
go.
Get
38-yard touchdown. Nice little play by him. Look at this again as he just sheds a blocker or defender and then finds the lane.
Great run.
There's a nice play by him. Gives them the lead 14-7. But don't worry, no panic yet. Now maybe there's panic.
Oh.
If you can't run it, you'll throw it. Corian Clark with the 15-yard strike there. UTSA goes up 21-7. So all of a sudden, maybe you think, all right, Houston sleepwalking. 21-14 though. Clayton Tune finds Majak the fourth. Look at that grab. Oh, look at it again. This is again, it's 21-14. And then you see this.
That was a heck of a ball right there, though. Unbelievable.
Oh, look at the quarterback saying it's a great throw. It was up, and away. He said, go, Gadget arms to get that ball. I don't know what you're talking about.
Great ball.
Game tied up at 21, which leads us to free football as it went to overtime, tied at 24. And there is it looks like that's our final. 35-27. It took 2 overtimes. Houston escapes UTSA 35-27. We saw a lot of this today, AJ. We saw a lot of times where the team that wasn't expected to maybe be as competitive was able to turn around and get a lead early and not keep it. It's like at some point the turbo button presses in for these teams.
Yeah, I thought for a minute there we were going to Houston, we have a problem for sure because they just came out flat, did not look good at all on offense, and ended up turning it around and playing well. But close game for sure, and a lot of close games, like you said, Fitz, like all day long with teams that we thought should have been blowouts or beat pretty well, and ended up being close games.
It's a college football show presented by AT&T 5G. He's AJ McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. And I take a deep breath because there are some times that you see a game in college football that just makes you want to have a drink for everybody. For the team that won, because you're looking at it at the end saying, oh, my God, I can't believe they won. And for the team that lost. And the next game we're going to get to is that game. This might, we already said we saw the wildest ending. This is a close second because NC State was supposed to have national championship aspirations. Block punt early. NC State recovers the block punt. All of a sudden, they go up 14-7. We're in the first. And we're thinking, okay, everything's going to be good there. Sean Brown with a little return. Crowd's getting hyped. Everybody feels good. Now, inside of 2 minutes to go in the first half, still up 14-7. Look at that. 24 yards for a touchdown. That's how I drew it up. 21-7. Nice little touchdown run. Everything feels good. 21-14 now. Going for it. Ow!
No.
Stuffed on 4th and goal, driven backwards, nothing happening, gives East Carolina the ball. But you think, okay, that's fine. Plenty of football left. Well, East Carolina getting it done right there, suddenly busting through. Harris with the 3-yard touchdown. So we're about to be tied, right? 21-21.
No.
Rough day for kickers.
Come on.
Absolutely. Owen Daffer misses it wide left. The crowd is stunned because Owen is a good kicker. He's a good kicker. But fear not. Chance to win the game here. Just a bit outside the other way. This time Daffer misses wide right. And all of a sudden, with 2 kicks, 1 to tie and 1 to win, all in the last 3 minutes of the game, none of them are converted. NC State survives. Number 13, NC State. And this one was stunning to me, AJ, because NC State fans get in my mentions every single time. I went on a bunch of different shows this summer, and I said, maybe I think we're sleeping on Clemson's ability to rebound, turn around, and be the cream of the crop in the ACC. Every single time I say anything, NC State fans up in there like, you aren't giving us any respect. I went into this game saying, all right, NC State is going to clobber East Carolina. They are going to show the world that they are one of the best teams in the country. And they got lucky. They didn't get good today. They got lucky.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, for NC State to have a chance to win the ACC and to be in the college football playoff talk at the end of the year, their offense has to play better. They looked rough today, didn't move the ball well. ECU played a heck of a game, not taking credit away from them, but NC State definitely has to play better on offense.
It is, to me, as somebody that freaking loves college football, it is important that the NC States be good, right? This conversation was 1 kick away from being wildly different. Now, you could say they survived, and as a result, they're going to turn around the rest of their season. Cool. it's also fair to say, yeah, but East Carolina, with the outcome we just saw, I crave, I long for, I need great teams all across college football, because the more teams that are out there, the more drama there is. The more drama there is, the better our jobs are, right? Like, it's that simple for me. I love great stories in college football. NC State is supposed to be a great story this year. One of the best defenses in the country is supposed to be able to show up and show out, and the offense is supposed to be good enough that you take care of business here. I didn't walk away from this confident at all in NC State, and then it makes me look, man, are we going to be sitting here by the end of the year talking about, like, North Carolina struggled today? Obviously, we already showed you that. NC State struggled today. Like, Miami looked great, but man, the ACC's got to be looking around saying, help me, Obi-Wan. Somebody's got to step up.
Somebody, because like you said, North Carolina didn't look very good. They struggled. NC State struggled. And for NC State to have the hype, probably the most hype that they've had in the last 10 years coming into the season, ranked 13th, you got to capitalize on that. And today, they did not look like the 13th ranked team in the country to me. Yeah, well, that one was ugly, but not as ugly as the next one. This one's so ugly, you don't even get to see a highlight from it. You don't need it. We're just going to give you a score. UGLY, Iowa ain't got no alibi. It was ugly. 7-3 is the final score. Now, you could say, hey, they scored a touchdown. No, they didn't. To be very clear, Iowa's defense had 2 safeties in the second half. Iowa's defense outscored Iowa's offense against South Dakota State. Iowa wins 7-3 in a game that, frankly, was Iowa's already like branded, copywritten, trademarked an ugly style of football. I get it. I respect it. That's fine. That's what you do. This was not that level of ugly. This was like, you know, like you got to actually sit your kid down and explain to him, like, honey, you're ugly. That was this level of ugly. I don't have kids, so I haven't had to do that. You ever seen the movie Major League? A million times. All right. Turn this place into a parking lot, okay? That's how close I was to when I was watching that game to saying that. Bad showing for Iowa today. Well, and then this is what we do week 1 of the season, right? We stack on what we already think we know, right? So last year we saw an Iowa team that was getting a bunch of love, and then everybody started questioning, hey, are they going to be able to compete when they actually play super athletic teams? We found out quickly the answer to that was no. And then Iowa went tumbling down, right? And then you see a game like this, and you're like, yeah, same old Iowa. And like, look, I know a lot of football left, but man, I just kept watching it thinking, it's not even that they were in a tight game. It's that they looked bad in a tight game. They did not look prepared to play. Fitz, you hit the nail on the head right there. They did not look good all the way around, all aspects of the game. That was an ugly, ugly game for them. Hopefully they can turn it around next week and figure out how to look better and play better, because today was not it. All right. What are your feelings on cows, A.J. McCarron? You like cows? I like cows. All right, good, because we're about to do one of my favorite segments. Holy cow! You guys know the drill here. We do this every year. Every week we will show you some of the best plays in college football, and then we will score them. We're about to find out whether A.J. McCarron's a tough grader or an easy grader. I just love to hear the of the cow. All right, A.J., you ready for this one? Let's do it. All right, I'm going to give the first grade, but we start with a little bit of TCU love, and it comes from wide receiver Darius Davis. 60-yard punt return. Look at him here. Outruns the entire day. Look, comes around the corner, turbo button. This is old school Tech Mobile. You knew Bo Jackson was faster than everybody. You got around the corner, and you were just going to make things happen. Obviously, this is a great return. However, I'm going to be honest with you, AJ. I'm a tough grader. Oh. All he did was run fast around blockers. So, while I would love to give this a huge score, it gets from me a 68. 68. You can't start the bar too high, AJ. You got to well, I'm taking a different approach. Okay. He's going to take a different approach. That's fine. We'll see how he grades the next play. By the way, it is not lost on me that is somebody that would probably take 17 minutes to run 40 yards. I just said all that guy does is run fast. All right, you ready for your turn at this? Let's do it. All right, let's get a little bit of Michigan action here. We'll get it from Blake Corum. Look at this. Blake Corum takes the run. Nice move. Triangle button. Love it. Do you ever leapfrog somebody like that? No. I'm staying my butt on the ground.
Oh, see it was nice. Like he did the run. He got a little momentum on it. Like you feeling ready to grade it?
I like it. I'm gonna give him a 83.
Oh, an 83. Okay, that's a little generous. Like all he did was leap somebody.
It was still very athletic play. The only reason it's not a little bit higher is because we only got 11, 12 yards out of it. But awesome play.
I love the fact that I just said all he did was leap somebody. Again, like I make a noise when I bend over to pick up a water. I'm like, and all he did was leap somebody. All right, let's get to the next game. Southeast Missouri State is where we're going to go here. Ryan Flournoy goes up. Look at this. This up over two people. Up and away.
What a catch.
Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man wants. That's right.
Souped on.
Oh, look at that. Good anticipation. High spots the ball, grabs it out of two people's hands. I got to admit, I don't usually give out high grades because wide receiver gloves are too sticky. But I give this one a 98.
Woo!
98. Like it doesn't.
I like it.
Doesn't get the full hundy. Like he didn't have to. He'd have to do the splits and maybe like a twist at the end.
I wish we could go back because if you check out, it would have been an awesome bra moment. Also, did you see the cheerleader in the back watching the play happen? She was like going to cheer and then literally just did this and like, what just happened? Like looked at him. That was a heck of a shot right there.
You got to be careful when you're on the sidelines without a helmet on. Like social media captures it forever. All right.
Look, we had it. We had it.
That's incredible work by the amazing production crew behind the scenes. All right, you ready to grade another one?
Let's do it.
Miami's Cameron Kitchens. Let's check this one out. This I think is going to get a strong grade from one AJ McCarron. Look at this. Like ball's up in the air, and he goes,
"Go get it, young man."
He goes full Superman.
Unbelievable. Laying out and watch the spike. When he gets up, the technique on the spike
he
right
keeps
here.
the ball from hitting the ground, too.
I wonder if it was a 15-yard penalty, though, for spiking it.
It should be. All right, you're going to give it a score?
Yeah, I'm giving that a hundo.
You gave it a hundy?
Hundy.
You got that 100?
100.
We're 1 week in, and he's already willy-nilly hanging out hundreds. Like, I'm definitely the Simon Cowell of this group at this point. Like, if this is American Idol for plays, because you're giving out the double moo out of the get. Like, look at that. 100. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
that was a heck of a play.
All right.
That was unreal.
We're gonna get one more in here. We're gonna get in some Arizona love and see how we feel about this one. This is Arizona. McMillan about to snag it. Ball. Oh, nice little play there.
Let go.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's all I have to say about that. That's good. He goes and he gets put the lotion in the basket. Put the lotion in the basket. Silence of the Lambs reference for all of you kids out there. Go watch it. I like the fact that he doesn't let it touch the ground. I'm going to give that an 80. An 80. Oh, AJ's unimpressed with that one. You didn't really like it?
Yeah, and you just got on to my 100. All he did was come back and catch it. That's his job right there. No, that should be a 50 all day long.
A 50?
50.
A 50. Look at this.
50.
100, by the way, is the score we give by this beautiful new set that we have. But also to whoever built the long graphic with the cow behind us. This is my favorite thing in the whole show because somebody from social media clips it with no context, and it's just you and me hanging out with the cow.
I like it.
Feel good about it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at home.
I got nothing. Okay. We'll move on at this point. I think we've taken all of the cow jokes we possibly can early on. Every single week we will do that for you. Every single week we will get you caught up on all the action, which means every single week we will let you know what's happening right now. So all of a sudden what we have here is Florida, Utah, and this is a game that I'm excited about because Utah's number 7 in the country. We're going to do a live look in here and get you some of the action as it's going down on ESPN, this game hype. But I think it's really amazing because you, AJ McCarron, have played in the swamp many times. What is Utah up against?
A insane atmosphere. I played there my first year starting, 4th game of the year, night game. John Brantley throws an 85-yard touchdown pass on the very first play from scrimmage for him, and the place is going nuts. There's beach balls, pool noodles, everything being tossed around, And that was one of the loudest stadiums I've ever played in. Absolutely insane. But Utah's moving the ball right now. Cam Rising, 3 of 6, 25 yards and a TD already.
I mean, this is a very good Utah team and an unranked Florida team. So it speaks to the advantage that the Swamp presents, that Vegas really only saw Utah as a 3-point favorite. Usually number 7 versus unranked. I believe the spread is far different if the game is not at the Swamp. So it speaks, and I went there with Game Day a couple of years ago. It's the only field I've ever stood on where it felt like my feet were shaking. I don't know how they even make that much noise. Look at that. That is a touchdown. Oh, on tight end Brent Keithy with the touchdown right there. 7-0 Florida goes up. That's a big play.
Yep.
Or sorry, 7-0 Utah goes up on Florida, I should say. That is a big play.
That Florida's got to come out and move the football now. You got to go down, get some points, and change the momentum. Oh, I think he's down right here.
Obviously, Utah is the defending Pac-12 champions. And it's been interesting because for all the conversation about USC and UCLA and where they're headed, and Oregon and Washington and what could be next, and is USC going to the college football playoff? Utah is sitting here saying, hey, we built something. We built something around athleticism. We built something with a lot of speed. We built something with great athletes on the second level defensively. I mean, we're seeing more and more of it impact on Sundays. There's something happening with Utah right now that's being built that I don't think gets enough credit.
Yeah, their team is definitely loaded. They have a lot of talent. The thing for them is, can they play a whole year perfect? And in the past, I feel like they haven't done that. They've always had one slip-up game here and there. But they definitely have the talent to be successful this year.
Well, and look, on the other side, you got Billy Napier coming away from Louisiana, where he's now the head coach at Florida. And he was a prospect as a coach that, let's say, every single year I felt like he was constantly in the conversation. He takes a huge job at Florida because, having lived all those years in Nashville, I'll tell you, like certain schools, Florida and Tennessee, believe that they should be SEC East champions every year and should be national championship contenders every year.
Yeah, for sure. I was with Nate. He was the receivers coach. They just scored too.
Look at that.
Florida goes down. Anthony Richardson throws a TD. That's big for them. You got to respond. Oh, they called him out at the 2.
First and goal.
He's taking
Quarterback
it.
keeps.
Let's go. That's big.
That is, yeah.
Big right there. You have to be able to respond in a way that keeps the crowd into it, because if you go 3 and out as an offense right there, and then Utah goes down and gets more points, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, you absolutely kill the crowd. That's how we did it back in 2011. We scored 4 possessions in a row, and it wasn't even a touchdown every time, but it killed the crowd, killed the atmosphere, and that's something that you got to do. But unbelievable job by Florida going down and responding right there.
That's a big score. And by the way, Richardson, a quarterback that, last year felt like at one moment he was going to be given the reins to the franchise, then it was taken away to the program, I should say. I love seeing success from him at this point also. So, especially from Billy Napier, who knows how to get a lot out of offense. We all know that. So, it's going to be good. Richardson at this point, 7 of 10, 72 yards and a rushing touchdown that you just saw. Cameron Rising, 3 of 6, 25 yards and a touchdown. This game is knotted up at 7. I promise you, we will keep you updated on all of it. It is that time of the day. And look, it's Bruh delivered by Pizza Hut. A lot of people new to the show this year. AJ new to the show. Are you ready to watch some of the most Bruh plays of the college football weekend?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to start with some Friday night action. Ethan Sanchez going for the 38-yard field goal for the Hokies before the half. But in order to kick the ball, you must actually get the snap first. That does not happen. Old Dominion's Robert Kennedy, the third, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, all the way in for 6. Makes a big deal because let's all remember there, Old Dominion won the game. So,
yeah. 4-year starter as a holder at Bama, and the number one deal as the holder, find a way to get the ball to the ground so the kicker can kick it. That is a bad moment right there as the holder.
I can't imagine going to the sideline with that. Next up on the list, it's 23-0 in the third, 4th and 7. Colorado State, Clay Millen drops back, but unfortunately, is about to get sacked, and then all of a sudden turns into a scoop skeet potato that leads to a touchdown. Wolverines win 51-7 pro. This was just ugly from the get-go.
Clay Millen, he's a freshman, first freshman to start for Colorado State in the opener in a while. You got to know growing pains as a freshman, fourth down, give him a chance. No matter what, can't do that.
All right, let's go to the next play. Rutgers, 1st and goal. 1st and goal seems manageable. We're good. Everything's fine. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe we just need a little bit more help. So 1st and goal turns into 2nd and goal. You know how this goes. Turns into 3rd and goal. It already looks bad. But what if I told you it was 4th and goal from the 43? What's the play call in the huddle for that one, AJ?
Punt. Get it away from us. Offense isn't doing anything. Let's just take our losses and go to the next play.
I don't even know what you say to anybody on the sideline there as well. Let's go next to Eastern Carolina, having a tough day for Owen Daffer, sophomore kicker. Missed what would have been the game-tying extra point in an exciting game. It looked like an upset for the ages coming. But fear not, there's a redemption opportunity for this quality kicker, and that redemption opportunity is the chance to make a 41-yard game-winning kick, but just a bit outside. Bruh.
Yeah, I feel bad for Owen. He's a great kicker, but a rough day at the office for him. Hopefully he bounces back next week.
The look of shock and awe is amazing from Pirates fans. Let's go to one more. Nebraska's Javin Wright blocks the North Dakota punt. So all of a sudden everything should be fine. It should be their ball. But Wyatt Leoler decides, I want to touch the hot potato. Not supposed to do it. Oh, almost loses possession. Could have gotten ugly there.
85. Get away from the ball. Leave the ball alone. Let them down it, and we move on. Offense goes out on the field and takes possession. Get away.
Oh, it's the weekly tough look for Nebraska. Bruh. There's one thing I'm sure of, AJ. It's that I'm obviously not eating a lot of carbs because I keep mentioning potatoes in this show. I don't know what's happening. Like you mentioned steak and potatoes, and now it's just this is what's happening. I do know what's about to happen. It's time to check out what's going on in the college football Twitter sphere with our tweets of the day, presented by AT&T 5G. And look, Twitter is always a delight during college football Saturday, but especially when you see this. Brad Robbins, the best mustache in football. Like, there's a fine line between you have an uncomfortable mustache that the room doesn't like and you have a badass one. That is on the badass side.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is a stellar mustache right there.
Could you grow that out if we tried? Like,
absolutely not.
You know, I didn't shave for like a week recently, and somebody walked up to me and said, "Did you shave today?" And I was like, no, unfortunately, no facial hair for me. But if I could look like a villain, I would do that one. Let's take a look at the next tweet of the day. Iowa has 15. This comes from our buddy Spencer Hall. Iowa has 15 yards rushing on 16 attempts. Be right back. Putting my entire mortgage on them to win 10 games again. He's not wrong. Like, the uglier it is, the more you're like, I can fix you, Iowa, and all of a sudden you're back in that bad relationship.
Brutal day at the office for Iowa. I mean, you just count your blessings that you got the win.
I just want to remind them that the Iowa defensive line outscored the Iowa offense. I am saucy about that. One more on the tweet of the day here. Iowa won 7-3. So they scored a touchdown? Oh, that is well played. That absolutely look of shock and awe. We love you, Iowa. Those are the tweets of the day. Are you a big Star Wars guy there, AJ McGarry?
I'm not. Never really. My kids love it, but I've never gotten into Star Wars.
So I'm hanging out with the quarterback and feeling even more like a nerd now than I was. Okay, let's get you caught up on some of the action going on right now. Taking a live look in at Ohio State, Notre Dame. And look, I've been telling everybody that Notre Dame was going to get absolutely schmammered, and instead we have a 3-0 lead early on. Number 5 Notre Dame leading at Ohio State.
It's big for Tyler Buchner, you know, coming out first possession, getting the ball, and driving down and getting some points. It doesn't matter what, you know, whether it's a field goal, touchdown, getting points, being able to silence the crowd just a little bit, get them a little worry in the back of their mind. And the defense is coming out playing right here.
I mean, C.J. Stroud can be electric all day long, but got to be able to throw the football.
Yeah,
you got to have time.
You got to protect. Got to protect.
I think this is interesting. Anytime you see from this camera view, you get such a good idea of where it came from and how it impacted the play.
Heck, I mean, it's just a 3 technique beats the left guard right there.
I expected that. I would expect that more from the visiting team in this atmosphere because maybe noise plays a part, but I'm a little surprised by that too.
3rd and 15. It's a big down right here.
And there's a difference between what we saw early today with non-competitive teams being competitive early against juggernauts or better football programs. You feel like the ship is going to right itself. I don't think you can have that situation in this type of game, though. Like, there isn't a, don't worry, guys, we'll just turn the burners on and be just fine feel when you've got 2 equally matched teams, at least in theory, playing each other.
Oh, 100%. And if you're, the negative side for Ohio State, like, and the side that makes you worry is, did they buy into everybody talking about how bad Notre Dame was going to be, and they don't have the talent to compete against them? So, I mean, that's the flip side of the coin is, did they let it get to their heads? And now, hey, before they know it, they're down, just say 18-0, 21-0. Like, then you find yourself in a bad situation here.
I think, like, week 1 can tell us something about identities sometimes, cultures around particular years and particular teams. Like, we learned today, I think, and I expected from Georgia, we learned that Georgia's mad as hell, that everybody's been talking about Alabama, that nobody's given them any credit, that everybody thought that they were going to lose so much. Georgia is mad as hell, and Georgia showed they're mad as hell, right? They came out with an energy and we're not just going to beat you, we're going to embarrass you. I kind of expected that from Ohio State because my logic being that all the love for Michigan last year in the playoff would be playing in their heads. But if they come out flat, if it turns out that they're starting flat in this game, then you have to say, is it different when everybody's been saying you're a shoo-in for the playoff?
Yeah, I mean, you come out flat for this game with all the hype that was leading up for this game. Man, does it turn around to where I would even ask, all right, we had talked about, hey, Michigan could have a letdown year, maybe. Like, does it turn around to where, does Ohio State have a letdown year all of a sudden? Like, they lose this, they win, and then they lose again to Michigan, and you don't make the playoffs again? You got to win this game.
Well, especially when you think about the eyeballs and the expectations, right? Yeah. And this is what I keep saying, and I'm going to say all year. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia. These are schools that are not judged based on having a good year means I lost 2 games. These are schools that have one expectation, that is a national championship. Anything short of a national championship is viewed as some level of failure, right?
Letdown.
It is interesting when you think about what we expect from Notre Dame. I think over the course of this game, we're going to find out that maybe Notre Dame needs a little more time and Ohio State is fine. But also, when you don't have preseason, you don't really have an idea what you're getting out of the gates. You have a Notre Dame team that is just beyond pissed off at what's happened for the last how many months of being told that they're a 17.5-point underdog. Like, these are the variables that make week 1 of college football so hard to bet. It makes it so hard to figure out. It makes it hard to predict. If I could do all of those things, I'd own a small island somewhere instead of work.
For sure. I mean, and I've been in this situation where it's, if you're Ohio State, buying into the hype, everybody telling you how good, Saban used to always pretty much pound that in everybody's head of, hey, stop, in his famous words, rat poison. Stop eating the rat poison that everybody's putting out for you. You're not as good as you think, as everybody's saying you are. You better get back to the basics and work to be successful.
And that is the one thing that I think most of the successful football players that have been around always talk about, is that it truly is a constant reset of understanding the work you haven't put in yet and the work you need to put in.
Right.
It's such a driving difference. And I think for a lot of fans, you think, we're just going to, for me as a fan even sometimes, you think you just pick it up and you're going to be fine. We'll see where this one plays out. What I do know is that coming up later tonight, the wrap-up right here in all of these same places, AJ will be back with our guy, Scooby Mageza. They'll get you caught up on all the late-night action. Every single Saturday, we are here on these digital formats hanging out with you giving you the best college football content you could possibly get. Be sure to hang out with us. In the meantime, took a bunch of people to make this show happen. Julius, DJ, Zach, Quentin, Luna, Alex, we appreciate all of you. He's AJ McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. Thank you so much for hanging out with the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. Let's go.